Hello there. How you doing? Excuse me a minute. Phone's always got to ring. Hello?
Is this Bill, old 64 goat?
Yes it is.
This is Dr. Wax in the Canal. I have a report on your Uncle Dorkel.
Okay.
Here at the Afflocket General Hospital, we have totally examined him from head to waist.
Uh-huh.
Here is what we found. His cranium, in other words his head, had 5 fractures and a piece of the skull missing on the back. His frontalis, in other words his forehead. His forehead was caved in the front, right in the dead center. His globe, in other words his eyeball, was pushed so far back it almost went into his brain.
Ooh.
His orbit, his eye socket, was cracked in 3 places. His cornea was scratched severely. His pupil was torn in half. His pinna, in other words his ears, P-I-N-N-A, what the doctors call the pinna, was half hanging off on his left side and completely severed on the right side.
Oh my goodness.
His external meatus,
What?
in other words his ear canal,
Oh.
had a twig stuck in it
Ooh.
from being buried underground.
Jesus.
His eardrum was ruptured. His nasal bones were shattered.
Wow.
His nostrils were caved in and almost totally shut off due to the heavy weight of all the soil on his face, even though he had a blanket over him.
Uh-huh.
Shall I continue?
Yes.
His malar region, in
What?
other words his cheeks,
Oh.
was badly gouged and scuffed.
Wow.
His cheekbone was crushed on the left side.
Jeez.
His labia, his lips in other words,
Uh-huh.
was torn. The lower lip was torn, almost completely removed.
Oh my God.
His tongue was almost torn out of his head
Oh.
by being hit with a shovel.
Jeez.
His mouth was distorted. His gums were so severely damaged that the doctors really feel that they should be taken out.
Ooh.
His upper jaw, although still in one piece, was knocked on a 45-degree angle. His lower jaw was completely disconnected from the upper jaw.
Ooh, jeez.
His chin was broken. What little rotten teeth he did have left was knocked completely out and down his throat.
Oh, this poor guy.
His voice box got severely damaged that we do not know if he's going to be able to carry on a conversation of any kind. That is being worked on as I speak today.
Wow.
His Adam's apple, although really small now and was big when he first, years ago, his Adam's apple was sliced in half due to a shovel blow
Oh, cool.
by being rudely and roughly shoved in to the grave and shoved down into the grave by the point of a shovel.
Oh,
Very cruel.
I'll say.
The pit of his throat was so well deformed that it's hardly recognizable if a doctor was to stick a stick down there and a flashlight and look into him. He's not able to swallow his esophagus, in
That
other
poor
words,
bastard.
the swallow pipe. esophagus was severely ruptured by
Wow.
the cruelty of whoever buried him.
Yeah.
Barbaric.
Yes.
His collarbone was fractured. His shoulder blade was broken. His chest bone was caved in. His rib cage had 3 cracked ribs. The rib joints were dislocated.
Wow.
The pit of his stomach had a huge ulcer developed because he was not dead when he was put into the ground, and because of this, he developed such severe stomach acid from the stress of being buried alive that he developed a horrible, horrible ulcer in the pit of his stomach.
Oh, dear.
His navel, in other words, his umbilicus, belly button, in other words, was full of grit and dirt.
Ugh.
His bladder was ruptured. His foreskin was ripped off. Testes were destroyed.
Oh, my God.
His tailbone was sheared off by the impact of being tossed in the grave and
Jeez.
hit a rock at the bottom of the grave
Oh.
with his tailbone and literally snapped the damn thing off.
Oh. Gee.
Shoulder was broken.
Oh, my God.
Upper arm bone was shattered. Elbow was shattered. He no longer has a funny bone. That was broken. His forearm and the outer bone was cracked. His wrist was shattered. His hand was broken. 2 fingers were snapped completely off. His hips
Oh, Jesus.
were... He broke both hips.
This is horrible.
And that's all I've got to say. The rest of... He has so many broken pieces to his body. I don't know if he's going to recover or not.
Hello? Guess we got disconnected. This is awful. Now, that report came from the doctor one of the physicians that was tending to him at the Aflocket General Hospital. Thank you.